Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Everybody, welcome to episode 33 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show. This is a podcast where we cover topics around this world: business news, money, markets, sports. If people talk about it, then we want to talk about it. Stock Guy and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube and Spotify. And everybody, make sure you're following the show on all of the different socials. Today, we're hanging out with our boy Sneegsnag, aka Brendan. I will be saying Brendan, but sometimes I say Sneeg.
That's okay.
Yeah,
it's interchangeable, really, at this point.
Thanks for coming and hanging today, man. Thank you for chilling with us for an hour, talking about what's going on in this world, or just shit talking, whatever we think is best.
Yeah, of course.
Was the time we were playing Risk of Rain a few weeks ago? Was that the time that Stocky hopped in and just started trying to like troll you a little bit? Was that the first time that y'all had met?
I think so. I mean, I've known of him just because of us both being partnered with your company, Madrinas, but I think it's the first time we've spoken. Yeah,
that was fun. Stocky, thank you for making that a thing that you always do, by the way, where you just hop in and try to throw the other person off.
Almost always. Last time I didn't because I could, and I had you fucking sweating bullets. So Sneak, let me tell you what happened. So what happens is it all stemmed by an accident once. Alex was doing it. Alex was with Andy one time, and I thought he was with Austin, and they were in the Madrinas partner Discord. So I was like, oh, let me hop in and bullshit. I was like, what's up, you fuckers? And it turned out that it was actually Alex and Andy, and they were live on an activation. So I was like, oh. So I was like, well, I guess I better run with this. So I just started going and it ended up being hilarious. Then I saw you guys were in there. So I hopped in because you're a good. I saw your stream once. You were a fun person.
Yeah, you were also you were trying to fuck with him a little bit, and like he started fucking back with you like real fast. And I felt like you were staggered. I felt like he kind of stun locked you a little bit.
No, I wasn't staggered. I was having a blast, but the problem I realized that if we started doing this back and forth, it was gonna derail your entire activation. And out of respect, I was like, this is an activation for Madrinas, and I could tell that him and I are gonna like be dropping F-bombs and just fucking saying crazy shit. And I was like, I better let this go because the two of us will derail from what you're supposed to be doing. And I felt bad about that.
Whatever, say what you want. I
mean, that's how it goes, though. That's how all of my streams go.
But here's the thing, though. 2 weeks ago, I saw they were in there, and he was with his new. Because what they did is you and I weren't good enough, so they had to go out and get big guns, right? So they got toast, and they went and did all these pictures and all this stuff. Sent me a blow up doll to take a picture with, and then they got this Somerset girl, and I don't know her. She seems great. Huh?
It's a nice doll, Frank. Yeah, she's okay.
Whatever. And then the Somerset girl, who I don't know, I don't know anything about her just because I don't spend a lot of time on Twitch.
She's a Fortnite creator, I believe.
And I saw that they were in the thing, and I was like, I was like, you know what? I don't know her, and I don't know, this thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to go make Alex think that I might do it. And he was sweating bullets. I went into his stream during the activation. I was like,
I didn't sweat nothing.
Like I just told him you better not. I said somebody were to.
I think I literally said, I think I said, this ain't Sneak, bro.
Now's not the time.
I go, now's
not the time, Stocky.
I was like, you pop into a call with Sneak and you start trying to troll him a little bit, and he'll see what you're doing and kind of like try to like basically spar right back. But Kayla,
dude, I'll throw a right hook immediately, dude. Don't even test it.
Yeah, and you did that night. That's why it was so funny. That's why I knew you had him stun locked. And I was like, I ain't even gonna talk. I was like, fun. I'm just gonna kick back and listen to this because Stocky's trying to like find a like a friend here and Sneak and like try to like troll back at me and like focus there. And then Brendan was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna troll Stocky right back. And then it was just like, you two. And I was like, I'm just gonna kick back and try to find my fungus and Risk of Rain.
Listen, I didn't know that this was like an MO of Stocky to bother other activation partners.
No, it's not an MO. This is bullshit. You're only the second time.
Get the hell out of here. It's an MO, bro.
It's really? I did it once. How is that an MO?
I'm not saying it's like a bad thing. I'm just saying I might have to join on this excursion more often then. If I see more activations happening in the Discord, I might have to also join and make Alex's time harder.
Yeah, well, it definitely like he said when he was like thinking about popping in when we were playing Fortnite with Kayla, I was like, nah, you know what? I don't know how Kayla will respond to this, so maybe save it. for like a different one that we do. But y'all hung out too. Thank you for sending that picture in when y'all met in Amsterdam. That was dope.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
We took a picture together?
Yeah, really quick before we both had to go because it was like the last day of the convention. I was like leaving the hotel where all the creators were to like go home and pack to leave the next day. And you were talking to somebody, and I saw your like little this thing because we both had a meet and greet. I saw yours like on your backpack, and I was like, I know who that is because we had talked during that Risk of Rain stream, and I was like, I'm gonna go bother him, and I think Alex will think this is funny because I didn't even know you were showing up. So.
Well, I did, but it was like originally it was a passport, it was a whole thing. But you and I met. I'm trying to remember. Oh, you and I met. Okay, so Alex, him and I met when I was on the way to the hotel to get Wi-Fi to get the Uber, which was when I saw Jake stream, which then led me to go back to Jake, which led to the 4-hour crazy marathon that almost got me kicked out of Amsterdam.
Wait, hold on. Was that whole deal with Jake? Did you guys not plan to hang out? You just bumped into him. You just kept like.
No, I had to go save him because of his stream, his community.
What happened?
So Jake and I are buddies. We did an IRL stream together in Miami, whatever. So we ended up, having a good time. And then I went to the hotel to get my Uber to go back to my Airbnb, and I jumped on his stream, and he was like dealing with this girl who was like really awkward. His whole stream, there was like 6,000 people. They're like, "Oh my God, this is so cringe, so cringe." So I go in and I start roasting him, right? Like, "Oh, this is what it looks like when somebody wishes a meteor be hit at the earth at this time." And everybody's laughing. There's like, "Stocky, go save him, go save him." So finally I was like, "All right, fuck it." So I canceled my Uber and I walked all the way back, and that's when the IRL stream started, where it was the whole thing, and then it led to the seagull incident, and then it led to the marathon thing that happened, all the crazy incidents that made the news and everything like that. So it was actually an accident that all of this happened. But I ran into Sneeg on the way, and I didn't recognize him at first. And he's like, "Yo, Stocky." I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" I was like, "Oh, Sneeg." And then like, it's just like, and then after he stopped me, we were talking, he legitimately seemed like he was like inconvenienced by me. I was like, I fucking love this guy. This guy is me in like, but better looking.
I appreciate that. It was more of like everybody I was with was getting like not annoyed, like they were sick of it, but like I was taking the time to like say hi to any fan that walked up to me. And it was after I had done it, like,
whoa. No offense, I like you, but I like call you a fan, buddy.
It was no, not with you, but like it was before I ran into you. I was doing it to like I did it like 20, 30 times over. So they're like, Sneeg, like we have to go home. We have to like leave the convention center because I had something else to do that night. But I kept like pausing the entourage to like say hi to whoever approached me. And then I was like, okay, like it's fine. Like we'll move on. Nobody else, whatever. Right. And then like as we're leaving, like I see you and I was like, hold on, guys, this one's actually important.
Yeah. And it's tough because a lot of the people, especially people who don't like have that, they're obviously, in no way understanding of what it's like, especially when you run into fans. Like for me, I've never been in this situation because like I just got into streaming like right before COVID. So I've never been to a convention, and I like when I cut off my stream, I go back to being a dad and a husband, all that stuff like that. So I never realized, and I'm sure it was the same for you when you go the first time. This wasn't your first convention, right?
No,
okay, so this was my first one.
I went to San Diego in 2019 when I averaged probably like maybe 100 viewers at the time. And it was actually where I first talked to Alex's company about signing me. I talked to somebody who used to work there, and then my community bothered them so much that like they wanted to meet up during TwitchCon.
Yeah,
so.
Brendan's also local to us here in St. Louis. Like he's like I don't know, like you used to live like literally 5 minutes away from our office.
I grew up around your office where it's at. Yeah, a little east of there, but yeah.
Yeah, up in North County, you're like 5 minutes away. Or that's where you grew up. You're like, I mean, you're not there anymore, but I mean, you're still, St. Louis is a small city. So it's like, you can get anywhere in 20 minutes, basically. So
yeah, well, it's like a major city and it's got some size to it, but like, because it's like shrapnel, like every major city has like one big area that everybody goes.
Makes sense.
Say shrapnel.
Whatever, dude. You live in Florida. You guys still have stand your ground laws. Like,
yeah, you're damn right we do. I actually went out for diapers 2 weekends ago and came back with diapers and AR-15.
What a trip.
Apparently, he's not a gun guy. That's fine. Let's keep going.
Dude, I have a degree in criminology. So basically, I studied why the police abuse their power and why guns are just not safe to have.
Listen,
So
I'm an ex-military guy. I'm an ex-law enforcement officer. I have my beliefs for it, and I'm also belief that not everybody should. So I'm on board with you in a lot of ways. I don't want to have a gun debate or anything like that. I was just saying, St. Louis is not exactly known for being the safest area. That's all I was making a joke.
Weren't we just talking about that though? Brendan,
right, but you know why this is a thing? It's a thing because years ago, St. Louis separated their counties. So like you know how a city, it takes all of the counties around it, and that's like the city's county. St. Louis said, no, fuck that. And so we separated our city into a county and all the counties around the city into its own county. So there's St. Louis County and then St. Louis City County. But for this murder capital stuff, because your murder rates is what's always brought up, we're the murder capital of the world, whatever, of the United States, whatever.
I thought that was Chicago.
It's St. Louis because due to the fact that our city county is so small, because it's technically the city's one, they take like the ratio of the size to the rates of murder in that size and compare it to every other city county. But because every other city county is so large, because it takes in that whole county space next to it, ours is like way higher looking in stats because ours is such a small like area to cover.
St. Louis City only
Kennesaw,
St. Louis
Georgia,
City.
they're small and they have the lowest murder rate in America, but they also require everyone to own a gun, so it's a little different.
What Sneak's talking about, St. Louis City only has 300,000 people. So like St. Louis, like the city of St. Louis only has 300,000 people. The metro has about 3. It's like 2.9 or so. The full metro that includes St. Charles County, which is across the river, and also kind of like the metro east part of Illinois. But like literally downtown St. Louis, which is not safe, only has 300,000 people and basically has no tax revenue, no meaningful tax revenue.
They're gerrymandering again.
Yeah, like, so that's why.
But that's why it's shrapnel. That's why I think St. Louis is so shrapnel. It's like there's nothing like, like you go to Chicago and Chicago has like, you can walk downtown for hours and everything is attached. Everything's like 3-minute walk from each other. Like St. Louis, you have to drive to places and it's like at least a 5-minute drive to get to something to another point. And it's like, you can't like walk and there's like 20 activities while you're walking to a point in St. Louis. Like everything is like from the heart of downtown, like just like outward into like random branches and pieces.
But also, bro,
I've never been to St. Louis at all. I've never been there. My wife went to Mizzou, so she's familiar, but I've never been there.
Bro, you're from Miami right now, though. So, like, that, it's not like Miami's getting that safe. Like, Miami's getting more and more dangerous.
I don't live in Miami. I live in the suburbs. But in South Florida, the unsafe place is not someone's unsafe.
It's all of it.
It's the there's a certain corridor, and it's from US 1.
It's from the west
past
part of Florida all the way to the bottom of the peninsula.
Actually, Florida's actually one thing I always love about Florida. I've lived in a lot of places, and for me, Florida gets a bad rap, and I kind of like it because I actually love the how different Florida is in so many places. I love living here, and I love a lot of different things. But real quick, the dangerous area, if you live here in South Florida, it's basically between US 1 past I-95 to 441. That corridor from Miami to West Palm Beach is just all bad, but anything east of that towards the beach and west of that is nice. So it's real weird how it's like there's this one vein of where like the like God has forsaken kind of thing. It's very strange down here.
So I probably shouldn't ask what area of Miami you live during
Well, I used to live in Hallandale Beach, then I lived in Sunny Isles Beach, then Miami Beach, then downtown Miami, and now I live in West Broward County out in the suburbs.
It's all right. Okay. He had a viewer look up his address and show up and try to give him soup live on stream. That was pretty weird, but
I've had people show up in my house. Yeah.
So I mean, that's happened to him. So I mean, it's the suburbs of the Miami area are.
What are you gonna do?
They're all really safe.
Well, I was gonna ask just because I go down to like Boca Raton because I'm signed with Misfits and that's where they're based. So
he said
I was just wondering if you were there with all the other retired 50-year-olds. So
no, I'm not quite 50, but no, I'm about 40
closer
minutes
than both of us. So
yes, I am. And then and well, not really because Alex is getting there. Alex is it's not just about age; it's about Alex has a mortgage and a kid now. So he's in that realm with me. He's gone into boomer mode.
This kid was born literally 2 weeks ago today, and like he's happy, he's healthy. Like I've never I didn't know how it was gonna go, right? You have a kid and you hear a lot of stories about people having kids, and like this kid is happy, he's healthy, and it's literally the best thing that's ever happened. And you would say that all the time, Saki, about like, you know, with your daughter, just how like it changes everything and like it just rewires your brain. And it's literally been the dopest 2 weeks probably of my entire life. Meeting this kid and getting to hang with him.
And everything that people tell you, it's just like when you're a kid, right? Like when you're a kid and adults tell you things like, oh, don't do this, and you're like, oh, whatever. You take it for granted. And then when you're an adult, you're telling the kids the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with parents telling you stuff, and you don't realize how important it is. And then all of a sudden now you're telling the next new parent, like, dude, make sure that like I was watching videos, like I had to put her to bed 2 nights ago, and she likes to see videos of her that I took, because I never took videos. I hate pictures, I hate videos. But when she was a baby, I couldn't stop taking videos. So we spent like 30 minutes watching old videos of her, and she's talking, and she's like pointing and laughing and stuff like that. And like I'm remembering when she couldn't hold her hand up, or when she couldn't lift her head up, or when she started crawling, and watching this. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's gone by so fast and I missed it. And so I kept thinking to myself, okay, I gotta keep paying more attention. It's kind of like, and not to get depressing, but like, how often Sneak, do you have a dog? You have a dog. Okay, so how often do you like, you know, you love your dogs, you have it, you know, that, but you kind of like, you know, you get used to them. Then you watch a dog movie where something happens, and you think to yourself, fuck, I need to take more time with my dog. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's that same kind of thing.
Yeah, not to really bring the mood down, but I actually had 4 dogs. And we had 2 twins that we got from my wife's family at 2 separate times. And they both, one ended up dying really suddenly of some really unexpected, like, I don't know exactly what happened. Basically, like there was something within his bloodstream that like popped, and there was internal bleeding, and there's nothing to do.
Damn.
It was really upsetting at the time. And then his sister, who we also had from my wife's family, ended up having like a reoccurring tumor that she was getting treatment for, and then it came back worse, and we were just like, we're not going to make her go through this again. So like I had dealing with one, like an unexpected death of a dog, and then like one very expected death of a dog about half a year ago or so at this point. And that, you know, we have our little puppy who's 7 months, and you know, she's a treat, but it is something like where it's like I get flashes of them, especially with our new dog. She acts really similarly to my old dog Cooper, and I get these flashes of like damn, I wish I had like really savored these moments more, because Cooper used to always, every time without fail in the morning, he used to climb up on my side of the bed and like climb over me to like get my wife's attention, and he would never like go to her side and like go to her on her side. He would always use like my side to climb over me to get to her. And I just remember like being so fond of that, and like I'd get flashes of it all the time. It definitely, like, because obviously it's a little different because I don't have a kid yet, but it's like it's very similar where it's like you get those like flashes of like, damn, like I kind of missed that. And I wish I had like at the moment given it way more attention than I did, because it's such a memorable memory now as opposed to when it was happening.
Kids aren't on your guys' radar, right? I mean, like you guys are still...
Not yet. I don't think so. Not yet. I mean, like
they're not on his radar. They're on her radar. You already know it. It's on her radar. She's just not. She hasn't pushed it yet.
I don't think we would either of us would be very mad. I think it's, I mean, you guys are both married. When you're married to somebody, if it happens, like you're kind of, it's kind of what the trajectory is anyway. So it's
for us, age-wise, it's about biological clock when you're our age. But
that's true. I mean, I was an accident, so like it can happen. But
most of us were accidents. Yeah. Most people in this world were damn accidents.
Some of us were tossed out early.
Let me plan it out. I'm like, I don't know. Like my mom thought like the doctor was gonna say she was going through menopause, and then he asked how long she was pregnant, and she fell on the floor. So that's how I started.
Listen, you're not gonna. I mean, come on. You're not gonna not do the thing that results in a kid being here,
right?
So at some point, you're just gonna have a kid.
It's like if it happens, like we're gonna be excited. We're getting to a point where like we can just.
I mean, let me be honest with you.
We're excited for it.
It's not so much if it happens. Like are you nutting in her or not? Like that's like if you are, then it's going to happen eventually. If you're not, then it's not going to happen. I mean, it's not like it's like whoops, maybe this month I will. See, let's roll the dice, baby. Let's roll the dice.
You do know there's technology out there, Stocky, right? Like, have you?
That's if you're infertile. I'm talking about like if you don't have those complications, it's either you filling her up or you're not. I mean,
what do you mean infertile? What are you talking about?
Listen, Brett, Sneak's just talking about like just birth control, like just
I'm just
in general.
talking about birth control in general.
I thought you meant like you were because you said
put them in like
if
a little...
it happens, it happens. So I figured the only way that would happen is if you were off the birth control. But in that case, if you were to take the step of purposely getting off the birth control, then it's about that. Okay, I thought you meant
I mean, that's different. But I just kind of, I mean, it was more of like a general metaphor. I mean, like there's always like nothing is foolproof. So like, even with that sort of stuff, it can still result somehow. And it's
people have it all the time. I mean, there's people with vasectomies accidentally get people pregnant, and
that's
the
awesome.
next thing
what
you
a
know,
legendary child. Can you imagine being that like small percentage of kids that are just like, whoops?
Wait, hold on.
I saw this one story of a guy.
Is that legit? People that have had vasectomies that end up?
Yeah, there was a guy. I was reading a story not too long ago. There was a guy who he could not get. He couldn't produce sperm anymore, right? Like he had some operation done. I guess it was close to a vasectomy or something, but he couldn't produce sperm anymore, whatever. His wife got pregnant and he legitimately thought that it wasn't his kid, and he like was losing his mind, and like he was like bringing it up, and he was talking to his wife about it, and like believed that she cheated on him and asked for the paternity test, and it was a big old deal. And it turned out they went, and it was his kid. It was like a 1 in a million shot. But
to be fair, if I was told by like a medical expert that I was infertile and then all of a sudden my wife is pregnant, like I would probably have a few questions as well.
Yeah, my mom, her tubes were completely dried. They said that they were dry. They couldn't produce. All the eggs were gone like that. Next thing you know, I was there. Right, like it can happen. Like it's not. There's no such thing as a zero. Like whatever. Like they can say you're terminally ill and you get better.
One of my very close friends had brain cancer, went through the whole radiation and went through the whole deal to
this was quite the segue.
No, just he had
dogs dying to nut
pregnancy to my friend has cancer. Very cool.
What do I say?
Are we gonna watch the ending of Marley and Me next? What's next?
The podcast
beginning of Up, maybe.
Jesus. So anyway, my buddy, brain cancer, goes through the radiation, goes through the whole treatment, chemo and everything. And he gets into remission, and it's obviously amazing. He had 2 kids, and he goes into remission, and he's great. He's like, he's after the fact. He beat brain cancer. The doctor tells him, "Yeah, you're infertile now, though. Like there's no way that you're gonna have a kid. Like, because he was thinking about getting a vasectomy, and the doctor was like, yeah, there's no chance. Like don't plan on having any more kids because you can't do it anymore." He was like, okay, whatever. Literally the next month, his wife's pregnant, and he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's pregnant immediately. They weren't even planning on having a third kid. He was gonna have a vasectomy, but the doctor was like, you know what I mean?
Like, maybe the wife was like, listen, man, I really want a third kid. So like maybe just just tell him that he can't, and like maybe see what I can do.
But like obviously like it's like a miracle baby, you know what I mean? It's like like they love their family of 3 now, and it's obviously a great story in the end. But like that's the point. Like they tell him that you can't, and then boom, like immediately, like there was no hestation, there was no pause. It was just like immediately she's pregnant. So I mean, whatever.
Well, speaking of kids, I did want to say one thing to Brendan Sneak about this, is that if you end up having kids, one thing is, and I hope Alex, I know he'll do the same, is that one thing is that I'm really upset about having kids late in life because I don't have the energy, the ability to sleep a couple hours and then get up like I did 10 years ago when I was 25, 26, 27. I don't have that, but I'm more stable. And one of the things is I'm not doing drugs and drinking and everything. But one thing I have done is I made a promise to myself that I work from home, is that I will make sure I spend at least 1 hour minimum one-on-one with her every day. And the thing about streaming, as you know, is that like you have the ability to make your own hours, and it's tough.
Lots of
yesterday, she came in, or 2 days ago, she came in, and I bring her on stream, and she always waves to the stream, and then she has baby
How
YOLO.
old is your daughter?
A year and a half old now. And so she's typing, she has this thing as a channel in our Discord called Baby YOLOs, and she slaps on the keyboard. And fun fun fact, she's outpacing the market by 133% over the last 8 months. Yesterday or 2 days ago, she put one in.
Correct.
It went up 10%. It went up 10% yesterday. Beat earnings today, went up another 20%. The shares went up 35% in 2 days. People are losing their mind. But she started saying, Dad, down. Let's go outside to go to the park, go to the park. And I said, I got to work. And I gave her to my wife and she started crying. And like, I had to make a decision. Like, I'm in the middle of this stream, it's a big market day. And I was like, guys, I got to go. Like, I have to do this because I can make as much money and all this success. It doesn't matter if I'm not around for her. So that's something that's really, that I've learned to kind of do. And it's not easy for me because I never stop working. Like, I've been working since 6 this morning. After this podcast, I'll do contracts, I'll have meetings, and I'll do analysis until midnight. But for her, no.
I feel you on the working thing, dude. I think I come from a family of workaholics, so it's hard to turn the brain off, especially with a job where you're the one that's calling the shots, especially in terms of like effort. It's like it's hard. It's hard to like turn off the want to like keep going, even in a small amount. Like even if it's like shit posting on Twitter or like planning out stuff, and it's like, especially this month, I've been doing stuff left and right, and my wife and I have been doing a lot of really important stuff that like Alex almost spoiled, but for safety reasons I won't
edit it out.
Yeah, well, I won't say it just yet, but it'll be announceable very soon. But yeah, it's like it's hard to find time to pause the work, because
especially you and I are both saw a lot more success since 2021. Like,
yeah,
you and
100%.
I both, like I went from, I started streaming in 2018. I had like 10 viewers, 20, and then I was up to 50, then 100. And then COVID happened. It was 1,000. And then GameStop and all that.
Everybody needed somebody to watch. Yeah. Especially during the GameStop thing for you, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, you and I have seen our viewership significantly higher even after COVID. Like 2021 was your and I's best years. And like, you and I are still doing it. And I'm sure your community is roasting the same way. The more viewership, more success you've had, the less hours you've been streaming.
Yeah, kind of.
I'm looking at your chart over here. That's why
I used to yeah.
Well, no, because I was thinking about how it is with, like, he's talking about working and taking the breaks and stuff like that. Like, you get that level of success and people are like, oh, now you're successful, you're taking time off.
Well,
like, no,
it's hard.
Now I have more shit to do outside the stream.
Especially because we have more shit to do. I mean, I just did, spoiler, but I guess by the time you post this, I'll at least announce the part of it. I did a photo shoot with Alex for my new coffee flavor coming out. And it's like,
thank you so much for telling him that. Thank you
fun.
so much for telling him that. Thank you.
Wait, which way is this? Yeah. So, but it's like I had to do this, and then I'm doing a bunch of really serious planning with my wife. Like we're packing a bunch of shit and coordinating. Like we have like 3 weddings to go to, and I have stuff with my organization. And we're planning a big event, and on top of that, we have TwitchCon. I have stuff after TwitchCon with people that I really want to do stuff with, and it's like, and I used to, especially COVID, like pour 8 hours into a stream, no problem, and it's like I can barely do like 3 now because like I don't get sleep because I have to get up early and like do shit, or like I didn't sleep well the day before, so like I woke up later and I barely have time to do anything, and it's like it's hard to complain about because it's like such a really ideal con to have, is like I'm too busy doing my fucking dream. But like, yeah, it definitely was like it was so easy to pour all those hours in during COVID, and it like definitely worked out for the better for me and you. And it's like it sucks to like not be able to put in that same amount, but at the same time I'm like, I have another person in my life, and we work together on things, and we have more than just me playing games on the table. Can
I give you some unsolicited advice of a mistake I didn't learn that I'm gonna I wish I would have done?
Can't do, no, I
said, I'm going to, but I'm trying to be polite because I'm trying to be more. That's fine.
I'm gonna hang up.
That's fine. You can come back and listen to this. Hire someone to be your ADHD wrangler is what I call them. I did not do this during
like a manager.
I missed out on an ungodly amount of not just money, but opportunities because I was like so used to doing it on my own that I was like, I can keep doing it on my own. And so many opportunities. I'll give you an example of one. I had a sponsor reach out because I work in finance and they just throw money at everything. This bank said, hey, we want to pay him $5,000 for him to put our banner above his stream for one stream. All I had to do was email back. Forgot to do it. Missed it. Just like that. That would have paid for.
I have 2 managers. So.
Oh well, fuck off then.
Bam.
I don't have anybody. Never mind.
But I do have some great stuff.
Get an intern. Utilize that.
Maybe.
Wait, when you say 2 managers, is one with Misfits?
No. So I have 2, and they're a couple, and they run the same agency together.
Oh,
I have nobody.
Okay,
what the fuck? Do I need to start playing video games to matter?
Yeah, you are playing video games. He's been playing. Hold on, what's the game called? The Medieval
Dynasty.
Medieval Dynasty. Stocky started a second Twitch channel to stream games.
Well, because IRL stream blew up. It was the biggest fucking thing from TwitchCon EU, and everybody's like, you gotta do more IRL. And they're like, oh, well, you should do some gaming. And I don't really do gaming, but I was like, you know what? Let me do a chill gaming stream unannounced. And a lot of people watched it. So I was like, okay, this is enjoyable. I don't have to yell. I don't have to look at numbers. I don't have to fucking worry about losing 10 grand. Let me just do this. And so I was like, let me move a second channel. That's all I did.
I want to get Stocky to Immortal Valorant like marathon. Like I want Stocky to play Valorant until he gets to Immortal rank, and like however long that takes. I don't know, but
Tough
like
task.
That's not enjoyable to me. I'm not gonna do it if I don't enjoy it.
Sometimes it just works out like that though, because like I remember banging my head against the wall trying to be a YouTuber for years. Like as a kid, like I remember being like 12 and being like YouTube, like exciting. Like and this was before YouTube was exciting, and like every like because nowadays kids want to be an influencer and they want to do YouTube and stream, and it's like back when I was literally 12, like you got laughed at for being like, I want to play video games as a job. So like I remember being 12, being made fun of and being like, I don't give a shit. But I remember being really insistent on like doing it through YouTube and editing and doing it in a certain like let's play format. And then like I was going through college and realizing like I still wanted to do it, but I didn't really get like in what format. And Twitch started becoming really popular, and I was like, I guess I'll just stream and see what happens. And then I just keep getting opportunity after opportunity, and sometimes things just work out in weird ways, and you end up doing shit you don't expect. I mean, the amount of successful people that do jobs that they weren't expecting to do, or like they just took a chance and it worked out better for them. It's like it's way, especially with streaming, it's so much.
When did you start streaming?
2019 January.
Oh wow, so almost exactly the same time I started streaming.
Yeah, it was my last semester of my senior year of college. My girlfriend broke up with me because she wanted me to lie to her grandparents about going to law school. And I said, I'm not going to do that.
Wait, about her going to law school? Or about you going to law school?
About me. Because I had already said I was going to my graduate program in criminology. So it's like I wasn't even like dropping out and doing nothing. Like I was graduating, going to my master's program, and she still wanted me to like lie about what I was going to do for some reason. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I had like pitched about doing this to her, and she said I should do something more important with my life.
Well, everyone thinks you're stupid for streaming.
And I remember
also,
like,
to be fair though, some context, this was 2019. What? This is probably like a 21 or 22-year-old girl at the time. Like
something like that, like 21 maybe.
Like you, the amount that you don't know at that age. Like I'm 32. I feel like I barely know anything.
Well,
like the amount you don't know then. Like that sounds shitty, but like
my wife is the only reason I became a streamer. She's the only one who actually encouraged me. Everyone else was like, you want to quit your job as a resort manager at a hotel to go stream about stocks? No one's ever streamed about stocks and made it successfully. There's no way it's gonna. You are stupid for doing this. And my wife was like, you know what? I want you to take the chance because you always talk about not, regretting. I want you to do it. Go for it. And because of her, we have what we have. So, like I said, like Alex said, at a young age like that, a lot of people are like, this is how my life is supposed to be, and that's not normal. How are you supposed
to know? Right. Well, and it's such an expected thing to like go to school, or like go to school more now with the graduate stuff. And it's hard to get a job with a degree. They're like, you got to go to school, get a degree, go back, get a second degree, and then you still don't get a job potentially. And
I didn't even get my associate's degree until I was 33.
Right.
And I got my criminal justice degree and associates at 33. Still don't have a college degree.
You didn't tell me he also has a criminal justice degree.
I told you I was in the military. I was a law enforcement officer for several years, and then I got a criminal justice degree because it was easy for me because I was a cop, so it was whatever.
That's dope, dude.
Not anymore, I mean, obviously.
Well, I just remember I do remember like that conversation was so pivotal for me because it was like she was telling me basically to like lie about what I was doing and then like consider not chasing something I had wanted to chase for like 10 years at that point. And I was like trying so hard to do YouTube in such a specific way, but then like streaming kind of caught my eye and I was like, I think this is something I could be good at. And and this is somebody I was dating for 2 years at that time, I think. And it was like I was exiting college. She was going to graduate by the time I graduated my master's program because she had like a 5-year program based off of her major or something. I don't remember, but I remember basically
she's probably an unsuccessful OnlyFans girl now.
I have no idea, man. But it's this. I remember in this conversation, like her basically telling me that she thought it was like a waste of my time, and I remember just being like, I really don't fucking care what you think. I'm gonna do something that I want to do with myself. So weirdly enough, we broke up. But I had more time to myself, and I had just stopped playing League, because I was not going to class to play League, which was bad. But I also barely went to a philosophy class and got an A in it anyway. So it's like,
listen, are you kidding me, bro? I barely went to so many classes to play COD and shit. So it's like,
I feel like I chose the right classes to skip, but like that's besides the point. Don't do that. But I had all this time in my hands. I had just like gotten broken up with, and I stopped playing the game that like cripplingly took my free time away. That I was just like, I'm gonna just start streaming and see what happens. And then like a bunch of old friends I used to shoot the shit with during games and stuff had like took notice, and they were started making fun stuff and invited me along. And it's especially streaming is so much about just being able to put yourself out there and take the opportunities that are given to you. And I don't think it's a very talented job. I think a lot of us, anybody can do this job, and that's why so many want to. But it comes with the experience of doing it. Like you have to start, but like once you start, you get really good at it.
Look at how many people started streaming during COVID, right? We ended up having
can't prep for it. You don't like prepare to stream. You like get better at it the more you do it, and it's more about sticking to it and taking the opportunities while you're sticking to it that really make like a small streamer a bigger streamer. You know what I mean?
But I want you to think about this though. Just work with me here though. If there were 22 million unique streams that fired up from the beginning of COVID until the end of last year. That's 22 million people that fired up and actually did a stream, right? Now, maybe there's a small percentage of them that just didn't give a shit. They're just doing it for fun, right? But out of that, let's just put it into perspective. You and I are in the
very high bracket.
But let's just put it this way. I was looking at the stats because I thought this was a really cool conversation to have, but I wanted to look at it here real quick. But okay, so you and I are so similar. I was looking at our average viewers. You and I in tandem since September of last year. You and I are just literally just back and forth the same, right? We have
that's wild.
Almost the same amount of views. Hours streamed, or you've streamed a lot more because I'm a part-timer, but we stream the same trajectory. Hours watched is flipped, but that's because of GameStop thing. But either way, our average viewers, our peak viewers, days of activity, and everything is just almost even, right? So let's just say, for example, we're exactly the same. In this case, you are, and I'm going to pull up your rank per se right now. You are number 1,248 in the world, and I'm basically the same, right? 500, we're in the top 500 in English. So let's just break down English. That means out of 22 million people, you and I, who just started streaming 2 years ago, are one in
0.01, I would say.
Insane. Literally, there's only 500 people in the English-speaking world that, as of right now, not overall, they may just have a couple of good weeks, but let's take the bottom end. We're in a group of 500 people in the world. Okay, that is not something anyone can do. If 22 million people attempted it and we're in that 500, then that means there's something about us. It's not just dedication. There's people out there that stream way more hours than us. I mean, I'm streaming 15, 20 hours a week. You're doing what, 20, 30 hours a week. So there's people that stream more. There's people that have way better equipment. I have a $30 camera, right? I had one monitor for years. There's other people that are better at video games and probably know more about economics than me. But there's something that we were able to do because number one, we're entertaining. We're also salesmen, right? We know how to incorporate that. We don't leave dead space. We know how to do these things. If anybody could do it, everybody would. It's not like we came in and had some kind of crazy outside influence that pushed us to the top. We started from the bottom.
You're basically saying there's there's like a natural meritocracy to content creation.
Yeah, I don't. You go ahead, Alex. We've been going back and forth.
I'm just basically sorry. You're just trying to say that it's a natural meritocracy, and that because there's a difference between people that
I'm saying that it's okay for us to be humble. I love being humble, especially when it comes to my success and everything. Like why I don't ask for subs and I don't ask for anything. Like I love being humble about it, but at the same time, I just want you to give yourself credit and say, or not to think that like anybody can do it. And the reason I say that is because I used to tell people, listen, I support you, do your thing, and you can be successful too. But the truth is it's not. I mean, this is not an easy job. Like people think, oh, streamers have it good. No, you may get to a point where you can kind of autopilot, but the grind to get there is insane.
There's also never an autopilot. There's never an autopilot because
I'm saying an autopilot compared to the original. You just change what your focus is on.
Everything is just still so volatile. There's nothing that's guaranteed. So it's like
right. And I think you can put as much elbow grease into this as you want in terms of entertainment, effort, and hours. But it at the end of the day, like not everybody gets those chances. But like as somebody who like, I was on like a big Minecraft server at the time when I was a smaller streamer. Like SMP Live at the time of its creation was a big deal, and it was very much talked about within the community. But the amount of people on that server that don't stream now, because the entire thing was you had to be live when you were on there. So it was a huge thing at the time. It was getting lots of attention. It made me from a 20 viewer streamer to 100 viewer streamer, right? And it was a big deal. But like the amount of people on that server that like had the same amount of opportunity that I did that don't stream ever at all anymore because they just didn't do the right things during their opportunity of that server is you can't even count it. It's the same as me and you with the rest of the other streamers. It's like there is such a small percentage of people that are on that server that not only took their opportunity, but paid out with it like 10 times and then continue to pay out with it every single step of the way. There's not, in comparison to the amount of people on the server, there just isn't that many people, because I feel like I personally, along with a few of my other friends that were on the server that I still in touch with, we took that opportunity and realized how special it was, and we went about it in an effective way that we were proud of. And I don't think
you were willing to take a risk, though. That's what separates you too. That you were like, I'm willing to actually give up the comfort of my life, become uncomfortable, take this opportunity and chance. And if I fail, I fail, but it's better than the alternative of never giving it a shot.
Well, and you know what? I think that personally comes from me being like the youngest of three and like having two older siblings who were very successful academically, like extremely smart, very academically bound. And like, I never was, I never cared for it. I wasn't super passionate about academics, and like I would study because I understood it was important to go through academics. But by the time I had ended up going to my last year of college and realizing I needed to do something outside of college, I did something that I wanted to do, which was streaming, because I deemed it more important and valuable to me than some degree I was told I had to go get and use. So like, I'm still grateful I did go through college, but I'm really proud of myself for like stopping before it was too late and like taking it into a direction I was proud of. Because I remember like having a conversation with my family about dropping out of my graduate school. And it was because I was doing this and getting told to do graduate school assignments, and I couldn't stream. And that was how I was paying for a house I was renting. So I was like, I literally can't do my job, which is paying for my house, which is what I was living in to go to school. So I was like, I'm just going to drop the whole school thing so I can just do this job I'm making money off of. and here I am. I just think it's way more about like the opportunities people take rather than like just raw elbow grease or like talent, like you said. Like there are people,
and you're willing to sell out for a coffee sponsorship. I mean, you got to make a couple bucks right here and there.
And he's got to show up for media day.
You're underpaid. You're underpaid, but at least it's something coming in, right?
And he's got to show up for media day. Take some pictures.
I heard you, Alex, the first time. You don't have to keep repeating. Go ahead. One more time. I'm sure you're trying.
Two St. Louis natives just helping each other out, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is when they first approached me, and I never told Alex this, but I don't give a shit. It was big for me. My wife was so happy. She's like, I was like, babe, I have a sponsor. Like, I'm legit now. Of course, now I know that it was actually affiliate sponsorship, and I know what those are, where it's 100% the streamer's work and 100% the money going to the company. But whatever. It was like, or no, sorry, 90%. But I was like, okay. Okay, first of all, Alex, I'm not having this conversation. All right. Listen,
that's not what it was, though, but go forth.
That's what affiliate is. It's, hey, listen, you shill for us. We don't put up any money. We get the money from what you do, and we'll give you a percentage of it back. Thanks, buddy. But regardless, I don't want to do that. But I thought that was like the first two moments I thought I made it was the first time somebody rated me that had 100 viewers and rated me. I thought I made it. And then when I got my first sponsorship, I was like, I've made it. Like, that was my mind. Obviously, that wasn't the case. No, because there's a running joke in my channel, and it's a meme. It just happens that I always get denied every type of verification. I got denied Twitch partner 9 months in a row. I have been denied by Twitter. There's actually articles out there about my plight for Twitter of how many times I've got denied activation or verification. Like, it just for some reason I never get like whatever.
I want to check now
this thing with Alex is that he has now done a photo shoot with every single fucking Madrina's partner except me. And now that I found out he did one with you, I actually don't want one if they were to ever decide one, so that I can now use this as that meme of everyone but me.
That's bullshit.
It sounds like I'm better at selling.
I still can't believe they saw a stock streamer and were like, we want to get this guy to sell coffee.
You think
it just sounds like I'm better at selling myself than you, man.
You hold on. You think it was surprising?
Probably true. I'm the worst salesman in the world. Every single stock person in the world became millionaires because they sold courses and promised the world and made people say that you're going to make you rich. Just do what I do. And I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm an idiot with a camera. I get lucky. Don't do what I do. Don't sub to me. Don't fucking do anything. Just whatever. And so I'm a terrible salesman.
How's the OnlyFans verification? El Stonko.
I put up an OnlyFans video and I haven't looked at it since then.
You try to get OnlyFans verified at this point because you can't get verified on literally anything. You already told me.
I got my Google business verified, unfortunately.
Yeah, which you said is going very well. Also, you told him, you just made the comment about the 30-second denial on Twitter. Did you tell him about that one?
I didn't tell him about that yet, but
he applied for Twitter verification, and 30 seconds later the email came back.
Well, the first time I was denied after 2 weeks. The second time it was 7 days. Then it was 1 day. Then it was then it was 3 days. Then it was 24 hours. And then the fifth time I applied 30 seconds later, and they wrote an article about it because I think there's somebody at Twitter. There's some algo or some bot that's just auto denying me.
Sneak, are you verified?
Awesome, dude. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's got the check.
Because every single person I found out got verified because of their agent or agency. And apparently I'm with the only agency in the world who doesn't have a connection at Twitter.
It was not. Nope. I did the process when it first came out to like apply or whatever, and I got denied like twice, and then I said fuck it, and I didn't touch it for months. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And I got approved.
Which way did you go through? Because I went through as influencer and they laughed at me and said, you don't have enough followers. So then I went through as a person of interest and I posted my articles from, Bloomberg and Forbes and all that. They said, no, that doesn't count. Then I tried, all this stuff and it doesn't work. What avenue did you try?
Well, I did influencer because I have almost 400K on Twitter. So
okay, well maybe I need to start buying some bots too.
You have what? 250K on Twitch or something like that, Saki? 350K,
280, yeah.
Whatever, some number like that seems to be enough, unless they're literally just talking about Twitter.
That's definitely enough, but yeah, they definitely won't take another website's popularity into account, I would imagine.
Well, it's not even about that. Like the reason that I want verification is not so much for the blue check mark. The problem is that because I work in the finance and stock world, there are hundreds of fake accounts of my that mirror me on Instagram and Twitter that reach out to people to try to, hey, listen, do you want to do a yearly morning call for $100? Or hey, I got this course.
That's a problem.
And it's a real big problem because of the scams. And I'm like, listen, I need a way for people to know it's me, but there's no way for me to tell them that, so they don't care. And it's like, all right, Twitter, your platform is screwing people over because you refuse to at least acknowledge that I am a person of interest. I'm literally the stock guy, and I'm not saying that to blow smoke up my ass. Like, I am the biggest, finance live stream in the world. Like, I'm not just some random guy out there showing a fucking coin.
Entertainer. Don't restrict yourself. Finance entertainer.
Well, I just like to say finance because it sounds more legit. When people say, "What do I do for a living?" I just tell them I'm unemployed.
Whenever people ask my wife what I do, she always just says I work in social media. Because if you tell them that like you're a streamer or you're a content creator, it opens up such a wormhole of questions. And like,
oh, you do YouTube?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you play games like Fortnite? I'm like, no. Actually,
just
like,
say yes.
No, because then they're gonna. My 10-year-old loves Fortnite. Would you like to? Can he see your channel? No, he cannot.
Like, yes, give him your.
He can't learn those words yet. He can only learn those words when he's 12 and goes to middle school and learns them from all of his colleagues or whatever.
Listen, in an attempt to actually cover an article that's on our list, because we're north of the 50-minute mark now.
This is a good segue, though. This is a good segue. All of the people that are watching us are not being productive, though.
So okay, all right. Let me pull that one up.
Which one did you want to do?
That's not true, because I always listen to shit and do other stuff.
Yeah, but you're not being 100% on. Like the people in my thing, the lurkers and stuff like that, like they're listening all day to. They're trying to look for stock plays, or they're like memeing or playing marbles or something. Like, how much work are they not getting done compared to what they would if they didn't have something? Because I stream during the workday. Like that's why I found success. Not because I'm good, just because I'm the only one on in the morning.
I don't know why, but like Cheddar, the Cheddar website's being really weird. I can basically get the headline on the screen. What Stocky's talking about is that workers post the biggest drop in productivity since the Cold War. This is an article published August 9th, 2022. It's got this weird little thing on it. I don't know what's going on with this website. So if you guys are watching here, we just kind of fixed it a little bit. It says workers are less productive and more expensive than they've been in decades. Labor productivity dropped 4.6% in the second quarter for a 2.5% drop year over year, according to the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's the biggest drop since 1948, and it comes as rising labor costs add insult to injury for employers, jumping 10.8% in the second quarter. Not even like the Cold War, not even like the Reagan version of the Cold War, like later on. Like this is like brand new, the right after like
the
3
part
years
where he walked in and took the credit.
Yeah, this is like 3 years after the Treaty of Paris. This is like some almost 80-year-old stuff. People are literally, the answer is easy. They have just way too much access to content throughout with their phone and with their computers.
Also, look what happened the past year. That people stopped working. They demanded more money from corporations. Corporations had to shill out the money, so the cost of labor went up significantly, and a lot of people got overpaid for non-qualified positions because it was in demand, and so they're not getting the same value. Because remember, GDP, right? Like our GDP is the cost or the production and value of all goods and services produced by a country, right? And part of production is your employment. How much does your employment worth? And like, for example, U.S. labor, I think the average U.S. worker produces $80 per hour compared to other countries where it's like $40 to $50 per hour worth of labor. And so now you've got people getting paid more to do stuff that actually produces less. So it's obviously going to cut it off. And as you said, people are just watching shit on their phones and swiping. I mean, there's another article we didn't talk about. 1/3 of all people admitted to swiping on Tinder during work. And with work from home, 1/3 of people have admitted to ditching work to go on a date.
Which is interesting. I've been
First of all, that's based as fuck to just be like, fuck it, I'm going to go on a date in the middle of my work shift.
You don't do that, because then when you work from home, all they do is test to make sure you're online. So what you do is you just get one of those little things that like bounce up and down and hit the space bar. So you're you're on.
Yep.
Go fucking nail one out in the back of your car and come back.
Well, that's what, like, I've been told that's what Tinder, like, I never used a dating app, whatever, but I've been told that Tinder is the one that's specifically
Tinder's all bots now.
It's more booty call-y than the others. So people that are on Tinder really nailing it out in the car, like Stockies. I don't know if I would have phrased it that way, but like finding
I think like personally it's kind of a great thing to hear that like people are working less, like, because I don't think a ton of people get paid enough for the stuff that they put in. And like, especially during COVID, so many companies made billions more than they had previously made. And just taking advantage of pretty much a dire situation for the entirety of the world.
What you're saying, I guess sounds nice in theory, but the end result is just that going to be that the company's going to make it back up and increase prices. And it's just going to result in things costing more for the consumer. So, but it
also depends on where you live too. Like, for example,
that's true.
I love the idea of, I hate the idea of government intervention in a lot of different things. It's obviously needed in a lot of places, but in some places there's obviously a lot of oversight or overreach and stuff. And like when you do like a federal unemployment, it doesn't work out like a lot of people are not unemployment, minimum wage. Because for example, if you make the minimum wage $15 an hour, that's great for middle America. If you live in New York, you're not eating, right? If you live in a small town in Louisiana, where profit margins at a diner are like 2%, and you make $15 the minimum wage for the workers there, they have to raise their prices on food, but nobody can afford it, so they have to shut down. So now you've got more unemployment. So it's such a tough like conversation to have. I agree though that, there is a problem with CEOs, getting paid a lot of money. Although there's also an argument there that the CEOs are paid to, like, for example, a lot of people get upset, and this is looking at it from a corporate standpoint, not from a worker standpoint. But when Toys R Us went bankrupt, right? They ended up filing bankruptcy, but they gave a $50 million bonus to the CEO and COO. And people are like, how the fuck are you going bankrupt and giving them the bonus? But what people don't know is behind the scenes, they made a lot of decisions to sell off the assets that saved the company $300 million. So because they made those decisions, it saved the company $300 million, which means were they worth the $50 million they got?
That's the thing. That's the impossibility.
But then what about the employees who got laid off? How are they getting fucked, right? So it's always a big conversation.
The impossible thing to get around is the whole Adam Smith invisible hand. If someone's worth something, if the market says they're worth something, they're going to experience that worth. And it doesn't matter. The government can come in and say, oh, hey, all publicly traded companies, the CEO and the executives can only make X amount, bonuses, X amount was salary. Guess what? Those people will just go work in the private sector then. They'll say, oh, hey, the private companies will value us then. And then boom, they exit public. And now all of a sudden private companies are paying for that. It's hard. And then then you're going to start seeing productivity and valuable talent and valuable executives leave the public sector. And then that's just going to have its own, effect.
It's like with housing, right? Like everybody's like, oh, well, government should come in and take over the housing to come in. Have you ever been to government housing? Like, I mean, it's like the projects, it's like, it sucks because there's never an easy answer, right? Like
especially with a place as large as us, it's like, it's really easy for smaller countries to have such an easy federally regulated thing. But especially in America, like the distance between one state to another is the equivalent of like England to Amsterdam is a 90-minute flight. Like that's not an easy task in America to go from country to country. Like it's a 90-minute drive to go from Missouri to middle Illinois.
Missouri.
You know what I mean?
From East Missouri to Central Missouri.
Right. To have it's really difficult to have such a federally, like something federally allowed that like really hits the mark in especially such an important way, like housing or wage. And with cost of living, especially, like it's hard to get cost of living to make sense for everywhere because of like popularity of cities and states and stuff like that. And with the minimum wage thing, it's like you can't do like 15 an hour in Missouri might make sense, but like up in New York or like in California, that doesn't make sense at all because there's too much money to be spent based off of that area.
We were just talking about that the other day about how a content creator
can't agree.
Like a content creator or a Twitch streamer, let's say, like Brendan living in St. Louis, makes X amount of money, right? And like St. Louis, Missouri, very low cost of living. Like you can live a very comfortable life here at a very low annual salary. But like if Brendan were to let's just say up and move to LA, like all of a sudden he's making like only 30%, like, yeah, the number stays the same.
Double the taxes, half the spending power.
Yeah, so like all of a sudden you're
That's why Brendan would keep his business in a state without income tax.
Yeah, but he's still got to pay for he's got to still pay for everything locally. Like he's still got to live there. And
streamers, we have very low overhead at least.
That is true, but the very idea that he would go to a different state and all of a sudden have 30% of the spending power that he does, like in a state like Missouri.
The one benefit that would be if I were to go there is like my wife's a nurse and California has a really good nursing union, so she would get paid a very good cost of living wage as a nurse there.
More money,
but I would lose money. Yes,
she would make an upside because not only is she's gonna make more, but she's gonna get taxed more. Her cost of living is up. You're gonna get taxed more. Your cost of living is up, and you guys would actually lose money overall.
You'd almost lose as much money as Nicolas Cage buying a $150 million dinosaur skull. Which is the final thing we'll talk about before we wrap up and get everyone up on out of here. CNBC.com posted this story. Nicolas Cage blew $150 million on a dinosaur skull, pygmy heads, and 2 European castles, bro. Like, this guy, I have his picture pulled up. This guy, man, blew imagine blowing $150 million just on literally anything. Like, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could spend $150,000. This is why he's in
every single movie that comes out. If there's a movie they don't have a lead, they call Nicolas Cage. Hey, listen, Nicolas, we'll give you $75,000 for this. I'm in.
Well, the article. I'm hoping that there's more
he's
to
back
it.
There, I pay him to be a pillow right there.
Who, Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, look, hold on.
He's got a Nicolas
First
Cage
of all,
pillow.
I think that's fucking awesome. I think it's cool to just be able to piss away that amount of money. I think that's insane.
Well, so the article says actor Nicolas Cage.
Obviously, he should do it smarter, but like still, kind of nuts.
Right, if you want to piss away money quickly, Sneak, just start trading stocks.
It says actor Nicolas Cage.
I watched your stream.
Was once a top earner in Hollywood, worth around $150 million, but he didn't hold on to the fortune for long. Cage squandered it on a string of expensive and often eccentric purchases, eventually facing foreclosure on several properties. So, yeah, listen, he's spent recklessly. Nicolas Cage, don't spend recklessly like Nicolas Cage. He bought dinosaur heads, man. Look at that pillow. You see that, Stocky?
It was
Which
a
one?
Christmas present.
Yeah, I've seen those. Those are amazing.
Wait, hold on. It goes up into what? It's just
Nothing.
red?
It's just a sequin thing.
Oh, man. That head alone should be worth $150 million. You should try to sell that. These are the castles look pretty cool, though. I mean, like, that castle looks pretty cool.
I mean, I would buy a castle. Would you? I would buy a castle, right?
I'm gonna buy one. I almost tried to get one together. There was one for sale in France or something like that. It was like 1.25 million, and it was dilapidated. It had like an underground dungeon and shit, and it was on like 1.25 million. I was like, bro, just to have it and like just to own it, not even to use it, just to be like that. I was like, I want it. So I decided, you know what? Instead of that, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go like get one in Scotland. Like I have like a hard on for Scotland, especially the Highlands of Scotland. I want to get like an old fucking one of those little islands on the west coast of Scotland, like one of those old like McGregors or something like that. It's like little fucking castles, and buy one of those. Like that's what I want, just to go there and just like get shit-faced drunk one day when I'm old and like just stay in my castle.
We have a tradition here at the end of every episode. At the end of every episode, we have a tradition, Sneak. Our guest has to go on a random rant about something in your life or in your world that has just been driving you insane lately. Kind of like Peter Griffin's Grind My Gears, but that's the tradition. Stocky, what was the rant last week? What was Dee's rant? Do you remember?
Dee's rant was shopping carts at Costco.
Oh, that's right. How people would block the lanes at shopping at Costco.
Wow, I could remember that. That's insane. Good. My memory's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, good recall, bro. So, Sneeg, anything going on in your world, any random rant that you're just like, F this, bro, I'm going to vent. Now's the time.
You're pissed off. Something that people do that pisses you off, or something that happens in the world that you're just fucking sick of, that you need to get it off your chest.
There's 100% something. There's 100% something. I know, Brendan. There's something where
him and I are both angry people.
I'm trying to think, dude. I've been so busy. I'm too exhausted to like give a shit at some point. I don't know, dude.
Bro, go off on some sexist rant. Why not?
I'm busy being a good person. Hold on. No, dude, my fucking neighbor has been insane. And I don't know if they're gonna pick up, if they're gonna even hear it. I don't really care. But like they've been really like upset over my dog barking, and people have heard Boomer bark, and he's he's very loud. He's part beagle, so he shrieks. But it's like at the same time, she will like get upset that he barks within like seconds during the work hours of the week, and I'm like, you work from home. And we don't share a wall, but like our houses are really close. So you can barely hear stuff in the family room to like between the houses. And it's like, but they're pretty much the same layout. And I know there's a spare bedroom, and yet her like setup is like in the family room where we share the most wall. And then my dog is upstairs being a dog and barking at nothing like a dog. And then she's like mad he's interrupting her work calls. And I'm like, you're literally in the family room where you can hear the most shit. And I don't understand. You have space.
There's a valid complaint if the dog barks and keeps someone up at night. But during the goddamn workday, there's just people living. I'm with you on that.
Do I live in a fucking cubicle? Like, I didn't sign something that obligated me to be quiet during work hours. Like I talk in here all the fucking time at night, during the morning, during the day, during work hours. I get no complaints. My dog shrieks for 5 seconds upstairs, and she texts our landlord and is like, his dog is barking again. I'm like, why are you fucking snitching for no reason over my dog being a dog? First of all, you own a husky. You take your husky out. You make him go to some fucking day camp during the day so you can work from home when you don't have to work from home. You can get a different mic. You can work in your other room that I know you have, so you don't have to share the fucking wall and listen to my dog bark. I have to go outside, make sure her dogs aren't outside every fucking time, so our dogs don't start beef between the fence that her dogs start, and then she goes out and lets her fucking dogs out anyway, even though I have my dogs out there and she can see in our yard and can definitely see that our dogs are out, and she just lets them out, gets upset that her dogs start going after mine, and then we'll fucking just get mad that my dogs in the middle of the day are just being a dog. And I'm like, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Like, I have methods of getting my dog to calm down, but it's a literal fucking dog, and this is his space. He's going to bark. Dogs bark. I'm not going to be the shitty dog owner who like ships my dog away during the day because your work hours are inconvenienced when you're working at your house. Go to your office. Go rent out a fucking room. Like, I don't fucking know. Get a better microphone. It's insane at this point. It's like literally at any point, if he barks, it's like I get a text from my landlord, or like she texts my wife and is like, can you have your dog calm down? I'm in a business call. And I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Been sitting on this one for a while, huh, buddy?
It's annoying, dude.
Let it out. We're here.
It's insane. It's like,
okay,
I'm like, I
get
feel
it
like
out, baby. Get it out. Come on.
Hannah and I are losing our mind trying to like find a way to like be nice about it. But I'm like, we went out of town on a beach trip with Hannah's family, and my sister was watching the dogs. And we got a text from her about my dogs barking. And my sister is like, I swear it was like 15 seconds in the backyard of him barking. And I scooped him up. And like, we got a text that he was like interrupting the business day. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. It's like insane. I'm like, I don't.
House. This is part of the why productivity is going down, bro.
In a busy neighborhood.
Because you're working from home. If it doesn't work, then go to your damn office. I'm with you on that, bro. I'm with you on that. You can't get upset. You can't get upset. If you're that person, if you're your neighbor, you got to just price into the fact that, hey, I'm working where people are living. So there's going to be some things at noon on a Wednesday that happen. Like I said, if Boomer was barking at night, like
he's not.
And there you go. That person just needs to get a grip. There you go. Hey, listen, that's a good rant.
Yeah, I'm glad. You look like you feel better too. Like you look like you needed to get that out.
Actually,
and I'm glad we were here for you.
He looks more pissed.
He looks more pissed because he's thinking about it, but he looks like somebody who's like,
I feel like I'm going insane. Like facilitating my neighbor's needs but like it not being good enough. And I'm like, I don't know what to fucking tell you at some point. Like my dog's just gonna fucking bark, and I don't really give a shit what kind of like stock meeting you're holding. But clearly, like they either have a problem with it and you need to do some other shit about it, or like you need to get the fuck out of the house and like go somewhere else with this meeting. Because
what you and your wife should do is what it's the normal times during the day is get near that wall and just make extremely loud sex noises. And I'm dead serious. Our bed was against the duplex's wall, and we had neighbors that we were like we're friends with, and we never worried about it. But then one time we had new neighbors come in, and they were drilling against the near the wall walls because they were doing their front sidewalk. And so what we decided to do was at nighttime, because what are you gonna say? Is even though she was pregnant, we weren't having sex. They didn't know that. I just got on the side of the bed and I started using my thighs and slamming the bed against the door, and we started making loud sex noises. And what are they going to do? I mean, they can't confront us. They can't call the police. They're having sex too loud. Like, it was just like, okay, bitch, you want to play games? This is how we're going to do it. Eventually, they started hitting the wall afterwards. And so we would just do it louder. It was fucking great.
It's kind of ridiculous, man. And like, it got to the point where she like texted our landlord that she was looking to move out. And he like texted us and he was like, I don't really know like what to say, but like she's threatening to leave. And I was like,
my bitch.
Hannah and I had like sent like a giant paragraph, like explaining everything and like how much we're doing and like kind of how we feel like it's not like reciprocated here. And he just like didn't respond to our text because it was 3 paragraphs of just being like, this shit is insane. Like we're doing so much stuff. We have our dog handled most of the time. It's unreasonable when you get these messages. And it's like,
speaking of crazy, sorry to interrupt, but a story just came in that there's a suspect who attacked the FBI field office in Cincinnati. He has been killed by local law enforcement after running into the woods. According to NBC News, unverified yet, his name was Ricky Walter Schiffer, and he was actually at the Capitol building on January 6th.
He attacked the FBI, is what you said?
Well, remember, the FBI just raided Mar-a-Lago, Trump's place, which my tinfoil hat says that this is all because Alex Jones, which that was wild, his attorneys accidentally turned over his entire phone records to the prosecuting attorneys, which is unheard of and just stupid. And after that, a week later, Trump, I think my tinfoil hat says there was something in Alex Jones's documents that implied Trump into something. Maybe Trump said, hey, I got a big story for you when you're back in line. This is something from the White House. I don't know, whatever. I think that is what led to the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. And because they raided Mar-a-Lago, now you've got somebody that was at January 6th Capitol just attacking the FBI office in Cincinnati.
So it's not like unheard of for a lawyer to do that. It is unheard of for like a civil case like this one. So normally in like a normal criminal prosecuting case, the defense and prosecution have to present their evidence so both sides can prepare their side of the story for the argument. So they'll have all of the evidence to work with. But in these cases, like the defense doesn't have to do that, like because there's no like defense prosecution. There's just 2 sides in a civil court case, right? It's
a civil litigation, it's a tort. But real quick, did you follow the whole thing?
Not fully, but I did read a lot about this. So
instead of the defense giving over his records that pertain to the Sandy Hook thing, they turned over
all of it,
everything,
all of it,
including other stuff that wasn't. And I'm wondering if something. It's a tinfoil hat theory that something in there might have been given and turned over to the DOJ, which in turn turned the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. That's my little tinfoil hat. But
so yeah,
there you go.
I like in a normal, like what everybody is like knows as a court case, which is usually like a criminal one. There is that like give and receive information of evidence from both sides of the court. But especially with this kind of case, there's not like that. They don't have to do that. So the fact that like not only did his lawyer give everything that they needed, but like even more than that is like disgustingly, like it's such a fumble. Like it's crazy how like awful of a fuck up it is. I mean, it's really funny given like who it's against. Like seeing Alex Jones get dunked on is pretty hilarious. But I mean, I don't think that lawyer is gonna have a job. I think his job is done. I mean, if his name floats around and people learn that he's the one that like leaked everything from Alex Jones' case, like I don't think people will relinquish him.
Bro, Yeah, it was either intentional, which that's obviously it. That is what it is. Motives are what they are. But like, if it was an accident, God, could you imagine? Like, he has all this stuff downloaded. He accidentally clicks the wrong file on an email or something, or like shares like the wrong like Dropbox link. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if it was an accident or not. I don't think there's anybody that could know. But like, if it was an accident,
it'd be real bad.
Could you be on the receiving end of that and realize that they're like, wait, oh my, you will never believe what the fuck they just send over, bro. It's everything. It's what unprecedented. I don't know, but like definitely extremely rare.
It's pretty unprecedented. I don't know.
For a case that's this public.
Yeah, I looked a lot about what happened with this, and then I watched like the one of the moms like talking directly to him about like her son being a victim of the shooting and stuff, and it was some pretty powerful stuff. So
somebody face swapped me onto the sister of one of the guys.
Here, I don't
know if you saw that, Alex, but that was I'm gonna be real with you. I all case aside, I would, but even with my face on it. But listen, guys, it's been great, but I'm gonna get in trouble because we are way in overtime right now, and I'm supposed to be taking my daughter out at 6:30, and it's 6:40, so I'm gonna get in trouble. But listen, this was a lot of fun, and we didn't get to any of the stories, but we never do, so it's better. We did get to two, kind of, but the thing is that this actually was relative because Sneeg and I talked a lot about the business, the streaming, about how that works, about it. Also, for you guys that are going to be leaving hate comments below, please understand that I'm not saying that you can't do it, okay, and that you might as well crush your dreams, but I'm also telling you that 99% of you won't. Please don't waste your fucking time. That's all I'm saying. Thank you,
everybody, for being here. This is episode 33 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show. Brendan, thank you for hanging for over an hour now, bro. Taking time out of your day. Guys, this is the podcast covering topics around the world when we can, if we're not just like shit talking. Business, news, markets, money, and sports, guys. When people talk about it, Stocky and I try to talk about it. Chuck and me listened and watched on YouTube and Spotify. Follow the show on socials. And guys, before we go, Brendan, where can everybody find you?
Pretty much any social media website. You can probably type in my name and I have an account there. It's Sneegsnag, SNEEGSNAG, and I'm a variety streamer predominantly and a shit poster secondarily. So yeah,
guys, go follow him on Twitch and on everything. Sneegsnag. There's no one that has that name. Like you did. You easily have that locked up.
And if you are gonna buy Madrinas, use code Sneeg for 20% off.
Or discount code TSG. Both these guys got codes.
Nobody uses my idea. Listen, sorry, Alex.
I
used
went
to
on
keep
the
the little
giveaway,
banner up, but you guys don't pay me enough for that.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you guys next week. One love.
You guys got so much fucking publicity from the Amsterdam thing. Oh, bye.